Ready to join a growing segment of the population who works and lives from our stories? We don't have traditional 9-to-5 jobs, and we don't want them because financial and lifestyle freedom is too important to us. The writing and entrepreneurship community, sharing stories and making bank along the way, is our way of life. Inside each episode, you'll learn business, mindset, and writing growth tips, lifestyle hacks, and marketing strategies for growing an online writing or lifestyle business from scratch, right from the comfort of your home. The podcast is designed to uplift, inspire, and add a little extra presence to your everyday with your host, Susan Kiley, a no BS book coach and strategist, speaker, and author. Susan helps people tell their stories by tapping into their bold message, shape words to resonate with their audience, and produce a story that has a powerful impact on the world. Welcome to the Writer Insider. Here's your host, Susan Kiley.
All right. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Today's topic is how to be an author. Right. If you want to be an author, you must write. Okay. That's not fair. Or is it? I am asked constantly, how do you be an author? And my answer is generally, how do you be a mom? If they have kids in tow. Or how do you be a singer? That's the easy answer. And my attempt at letting that person asking the question isn't truly the question they're wanting answered. And there becomes a lot of gray area of what is an author. Is it a best-selling book? And honestly, as a best-selling author, I would never say that I'm a bestseller know-it-all. But I'm very, very good at a book full of stuff. Enough that I think I can be a teacher of someone else. So, when an inspiring author asks me how to be an author, or a person I randomly meet and begin chatting with wants to know the secret, I tell them, write. Literally, if you want to be an author, you must write. I don't care if you use a pencil, a pen, a crayon, marker, or type. Heck, you can even use voice-to-text recognition software. Whatever medium you choose, you must start and write. When the perplexing washes over the person's face, I then tell them that they are not asking the correct questions for the answers that they are looking for. The question or the questions they really want to know, like, how long did it take you to write your book? My response is, which one? And the frustration of the person seeking the answer sets in. The thing about becoming an author or being an author is all personal relevancy. My first book took a decade, not because life got in the way. Writer's block, which, that is a whole different podcast and blog post, or that I couldn't find a publisher. See, the reason someday took a decade, and you still won't find a copy of the book currently on Amazon, is because I feared rejection. I feared people would hate it. I feared the truth. Someone else's opinion became my truth. Though someday remains available but unavailable, I continued to write. I wrote for years, books upon books in many genres. I studied. I helped others. I wrote. I studied. I helped others. I wrote. I studied. I helped others. I wrote. Do you hear the pattern? Do you hear the answer to the initial question? I write. I write every single day. Something. Will what I write see the day of light sometimes? A version of what I write will eventually see the light. It's like my blog. I've held a blog since I was a product creator of a baby product years ago. But you won't see those posts anywhere. Well, you may be able to crawl around in space and somewhere find one of them. Why? Because I always started, and feared what others would think, or how the words I wrote would even matter. Do you hear the pattern? That's the problem. With those who want to be writers and those that are writers, I always wanted to be a writer. I was a writer. Then I quit. Then I wanted to be a writer again. But I was always a writer, correct? I wrote daily, a habit I've continued for decades. As you're listening or reading the transcript, are you shaking your head because you've heard versions of the exact answer before? Yep. Here's the thing. I'm not blowing smoke at anyone when I give the smart alecky answer. Write. To be an author, you must write. If you've heard this exact answer from other authors, well, that should probably tell you that writing is how to do it. However, this isn't truly the answers you are seeking. Your questions are, 1, how to start. Question 2, how to finish. And question 3, how to get better. Now, you're finally shaking your head and potentially annoyed at the whole reading and listening to finally get your questions answered, correct? Okay, here goes. How to start, in parentheses, writing a book. Okay, and I used air quotes for you. 1, you must put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard or voice to software. End of discussion. Number 2, do step 1 daily. Step 1, put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard or voice to software. Number 3, if you want to start writing a book, you must keep doing steps 1 and 2 until you've written a book. Easy peasy, right? A follow-up question would then be, how long should a book be? And my answer? As long as you want it. Seriously. There are guidelines depending on the topic you are writing, say genre, fiction versus nonfiction, and subcategories of said fiction and nonfiction. But I'll leave that for an entirely different podcast and blog post because there's so much that goes into a book length based on your topic and also if you plan to traditional publish or self-publish. The short answer is this: as long as you choose for the book to be. Okay? The second question, how to finish writing a book. Well, you put your thoughts and words onto paper. Refer back to how to start writing a book. Put pen to paper, fingers to keyboard, or voice to software, right? You must put your thoughts and words onto paper. Number 2, you then take those words that you put onto paper, you string them into a sentence, and then those sentences eventually become a paragraph. Okay, number 3, those paragraphs will turn into chapters, and those chapters into a completed book. Again, there's a lot more that goes into finishing, air quote, a book, but for simplicity reasons, to finish your first book, you must write. You will write and write and write more until you no longer have anything to say about the topic you've chosen. You'll know when you're finished. Someday came from a single word transformed into multiple sentences and paragraphs and then into chapters. When I finished telling the story, I was 50 plus chapters in and had nothing more to say. At the moment. You know what I mean? At the moment. So, no. Someday is not 50 chapters now. I edited the heck out of it before publishing. The point of finishing your book is writing until you have nothing left to say, until your characters have resolved and run off into the sunset. Right. A happy ever after, right? Right. Again, I will do an entire podcast and blog post about the topic of finishing a book. Let's move on to the third question most people do not ask but really want the answer to. How to get better at writing or writing a book in general. The first thing is to write. The second thing I would say is study writing. And the third thing is read a lot. I love reading, learning, and doing. You know, I began reading a ton of stuff in the genre I wanted to write in. The genres I felt I had something to say and would be really good at. In my opinion, of course. I also studied how best-selling authors were doing it. I studied all different authors and their different books. And I wrote a ton. A little side note, I also got into a group of very talented writers. They were superb. I had a knack of ripping their stuff to pieces and creating amazing dialogue. I speak in dialogue. Horrible habit that annoys the heck out of my significant other and a lot of other people. But I'm really good at dialogue within my writing. To get better at writing dialogue or even editing or even writing a book, personally, I focus all my time on how to be a better editor and how to write dialogue. I studied the heck out of these two things. I've never had issues with ideas or what to talk about. heck to the no there. Think about this. Over 90% of the population of the world will never do. So, if you write words daily, they will become sentences and those will become paragraphs. You will then turn those paragraphs into chapters and those chapters into a book. You just became the less than 10% who will write a book. Think about what I just said. You just became the less than 10% who will write a book. There's a lot more than what I quickly went through, and I will, over the course of the year, go through what it takes to write a book, start to finish. There's a faster way, of course. Isn't there always? I teach others privately and in group settings how to go from start to finish with a book. And no, it's not giving a person a pen and a piece of paper. Well, unless they truly need that to start. I always let anyone I work with know there's no correct. This is the absolute must for a person to do to write a book. The only absolute for writing a book, finishing a book, and being good at writing a book is writing. You must write. All right, guys, that's all for the episode and the post for today. Remember this, you're just one word away. I appreciate each and every one of you for listening and reading the transcript or the blog post today. All right, that's all I got for you today.
That's it for this episode of The Writer Insider. For blogs, transcripts, and other free resources, visit susanrkiley.com. And Susan would love to personally reply to your questions about this or other topics. So email those to susan@susanrkiley.com. To connect on social media, search Susan R. Kiley on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Or you can even send snail mail to HSL Media, 13110 Birch Drive, number 195, Suite 148, Omaha, Nebraska, 68164. The Writer Insider, produced by Susan Kiley and edited by me, David L. White.
Put pen to paper, fingers to keyboard, or voice to software, right? You just became the less than 10% who will write a book.